At the beginning of this movie, we meet a teenage boy named Andrew who lives in Seattle with his sick mom and his abusive dad. The situation at home is so bad that Andrew decides to buy a video camera. He tells his dad he's going to record everything from now on, hoping this will make him think twice before getting violent. The next morning, Andrew goes into his mom's room to say goodbye before school. She's lying in bed looking weak and tired, but she smiles at him and tells him to have a good day. Andrew's cousin Matt pulls up outside to give him a ride. When they get to school, Andrew walks around filming different parts of the campus. A group of guys notice him filming and walk over. They grab the camera out of his hands and start mocking him. They toss it around between them while Andrew just stands there. Eventually they throw it back at him and walk away laughing. Later that day, Matt tells Andrew there's a party that night and he should come. Andrew says no. Matt keeps pushing, saying it would be good for Andrew to get out and be around people for once. Andrew finally gives in and agrees to go. That night at the party, Andrew walks around with his camera filming everyone dancing and having fun. He notices a girl across the room who's also holding a camera. Her name is Casey, and she makes vlogs about different causes. A guy comes up to Andrew and gets in his face. He accuses Andrew of filming his girlfriend without permission and tells him to get lost. Andrew walks outside into the parking lot. He sits down on the curb and starts crying. He feels completely out of place, like he doesn't belong anywhere. Then someone calls his name. It's Steve, one of the most popular kids in school. He walks over and asks Andrew if he wants to come see something cool. He says he and Matt found something weird in the woods, and they need Andrew to film it. Andrew follows him into the trees. They walk for a while until they reach a clearing. In the middle of the clearing is a large hole in the ground. Strange noises are coming from inside. Steve jumps down into the hole without hesitating. Andrew and Matt follow him. They crawl deeper and deeper until they enter a small underground cave. In the center of the cave is a massive glowing object. It looks like some kind of crystal. It starts making a loud humming sound. The walls begin to shake. Then everything goes black. Several weeks pass. We see Matt, Steve, and Andrew standing in someone's backyard tossing a baseball to each other. Matt throws the ball to Andrew. The ball flies through the air, but Andrew lifts his hand and the ball just stops. It hangs there in mid-air, not moving. Blood starts dripping from Andrew's nose, then he drops the ball. The three of them go inside the house and sit around a table covered in Lego bricks. Without touching anything, they make the little plastic pieces float up off the table. Whatever that glowing crystal was, it gave them the ability to move things with their minds. The next day, they drive back to the spot in the woods where the hole was. But when they get there, the hole is completely filled in with dirt. There are police cars parked nearby, and officers telling people to stay away from the area. On the drive home, Andrew tells Steve that his mom is really sick, and his dad used to be a firefighter but got hurt on the job. When Andrew gets home, he goes into his room and practices moving his camera around without touching it. It floats smoothly through the air. From the other room, he hears his dad on the phone begging for help paying for his mom's medicine. He's saying they can't afford it anymore, but she's getting worse and needs it. The next day, Andrew takes his mom outside. He pushes her wheelchair down to the water, and they spend the afternoon together. She looks happy. At school the next day, Matt explains his theory. He says their power is like a muscle. The more they use it, the stronger it gets. He says if they try to do too much too fast, it strains them, and that's when their nose bleeds. Andrew suggests they go somewhere with people around and test what they can do. They decide to go to a supermarket. Inside the store, they start playing small pranks. Andrew makes a shopping cart roll away from someone. Steve makes a stuffed animal move on its own, and a little kid screams. Matt tries to pull a piece of gum out of someone's mouth, but ends up smacking them in the face by accident. They go to a diner afterward and keep messing around. They're all laughing and having the time of their lives. Out in the parking lot, Steve decides to try something bigger. He moves an entire car from one parking space to another, while the owner is inside the store. Matt and Andrew watch in amazement. That's the heaviest thing any of them have moved. Blood pours out of Steve's nose, but he says he's fine. But what happens next, no one expected. On the drive home, a truck behind them starts honking and riding close to their bumper. Andrew gets annoyed and decides to use his power to push the truck back a little, but he uses too much force. The truck swerves hard off the road, crashes through a barrier, and flips into a river. The boys jump out of the car in a panic. Steve dives into the water and pulls the driver out. They call for help. Matt turns to Andrew and asks him what he was thinking. Matt says their powers are getting too strong, and they need rules. The following day, they meet Steve at an empty lot. When they arrive, Steve is floating in the air above them. He's figured out how to fly. He tells them to try. Matt goes first but can't get off the ground. He falls flat on his face over and over. Then Andrew tries. He rises up into the air. He starts laughing. He flies up to Steve and they both yell in excitement. Soon all three of them are soaring through the clouds. They're flying faster than cars. They throw a football back and forth while zooming through the sky. Then a plane comes out of nowhere and flies right past them. The wind from the plane knocks Steve unconscious. He starts falling. Andrew dives after him and grabs him. They're falling fast. Andrew focuses as hard as he can and slows them down just before they hit the ground. Matt lands next to them. They all lay there for a second, then start laughing. They just became the first people in history to fly. That night they have a sleepover at Steve's house. Andrew tells them this has been the best day of his entire life. Later, Steve suggests they do the school talent show together, and he'll help Andrew put together an act. A few days later, as Andrew walks out to head to the show, his dad stops him in the hallway. He tells Andrew he knows something is going on. At the talent show, Matt is filming everything. Steve and Andrew walk out onto the stage and start doing a magic show. Andrew uses his powers to make cards float, to levitate objects, to do impossible tricks. The whole school goes crazy. Everyone is cheering. For the first time in his life, Andrew knows what it feels like to be seen. After the show, Matt and Andrew go to a house party. People keep coming up to Andrew and talking to him. He's never experienced anything like this. Steve goes looking for Andrew later. He walks upstairs and opens a bedroom door. Inside, Andrew is with a girl, but something went wrong. Andrew got sick and threw up everywhere. The girl is upset. Matt walks in and starts laughing. Andrew completely loses it. He screams at both of them to get out. The next day, Andrew is in his room playing with a spider. He makes it float in the air. Then he pulls it apart. His dad comes home and goes into Andrew's room while he's gone. His dad finds the camera. When Andrew gets back, his dad is waiting for him. He starts yelling about how Andrew spent money on a camera when they can barely afford his mom's medication. Andrew yells back. His dad grabs him and slams him against the wall. But this time Andrew fights back. He uses his power to pin his dad to the wall. He tells his dad he could crush him if he wanted to. Then he throws him across the room. At that same moment, Matt is at a birthday party with Casey. His nose starts bleeding even though he hasn't used his powers. Across town, Andrew is standing outside in the middle of a storm. He's crying. Rain is pouring down. Steve shows up. He says his nose started bleeding and he heard Andrew's voice in his head calling for help. Andrew tells him to go away. Steve tries to calm him down. Andrew gets more upset. The storm gets worse. Then lightning flashes across the sky and strikes. Time passes. Andrew is filming a funeral. He sees Casey and Matt there. Steve was killed by the lightning. Andrew looks across the crowd and sees Matt staring right at him. After the service, Matt walks up to Andrew. He asks him what really happened. He says there were no lightning strikes recorded that night. He demands that Andrew tell him the truth. Andrew doesn't say anything. He just lifts off the ground and flies away. The next day, Andrew visits Steve's grave. He stands there and apologizes. He says he didn't mean for it to happen. He says he lost control. Andrew goes to school and hears people talking about him. They're making fun of him for throwing up at the party. The same guys who used to bully him start mocking him again. One of them imitates him throwing up. Andrew walks up to him. He uses his power to rip several teeth right out of the guy's mouth. The bully collapses screaming. Later, Andrew goes to a junkyard. He sits in front of his camera and talks about evolution. He talks about predators and prey. He says predators don't feel guilty when they kill. Humans don't feel guilty when they step on a bug. He says he's more advanced than other people now, and if he hurts them, that's just the way things are. Behind him, a car crumples like paper. He crushed it without even turning around. Matt bursts into Andrew's room. He heard about what happened at school. He tells Andrew they have to follow the rules. He says they're too powerful now, and if Andrew doesn't stop hurting people, Matt will have to stop him. They argue. Matt throws a punch. Andrew catches his fist in midair without even trying. Matt leaves. Andrew goes to the pharmacy to pick up his mom's medicine. The person behind the counter tells him he doesn't have enough money. Andrew realizes he has no choice. He goes home and takes his dad's old firefighter uniform. He puts it on and goes out into the night. He finds the men from his street, the ones who always made fun of him. He throws them into cars, onto the pavement. He knocks them all out in seconds and takes their money. Then he goes to a supermarket. He walks inside and shoves the cashier to the floor. He grabs all the cash from the register. As he walks out, the cashier gets up and grabs a shotgun. Andrew swipes it out of his hands, but it goes off. The bullet hits a gas pump. The whole station explodes. Andrew is thrown backward. His clothes catch fire. He wakes up in a hospital. His dad is standing over him crying. He tells Andrew that his mom is dead. He says it's Andrew's fault. He says if Andrew hadn't gone missing, she'd still be alive. He starts shouting at Andrew, telling him to apologize. His voice gets louder and louder. Andrew grabs his hands. He screams. A massive hole explodes through the side of the hospital. Matt is at a birthday party when his nose starts bleeding. He looks up at a TV on the wall. The news is showing footage of the hospital. He knows immediately. He tells Casey they need to go. She drives him as fast as she can. When they get there, Matt sees Andrew in the air holding his dad. Andrew drops him. Matt flies up and catches him right before he hits the ground. Everyone on the street sees Matt flying. Casey gets Matt back in the car. But Andrew finds them. He lifts the entire car into the air and flies it to the top of a huge tower. Then he drops it. Matt grabs Casey and flies her to the ground. People everywhere are filming on their phones. Matt flies back up to Andrew. He begs him to stop. Andrew says everyone has always treated him like garbage, and now he's finally strong enough to do something about it. Matt promises to help him. He says they can leave the city, start over somewhere new, but but Andrew isn't listening. He throws a bus at Matt. Andrew lands on top of a building. Matt gets up and flies at him. They crash into each other and go smashing through the street. They throw cars. They rip through buildings. People are running and screaming. Andrew doesn't care who gets hurt. The police show up and surround them. One of the officers fires. The bullet hits Matt. Andrew blasts all the cops backward and flies away. They both land in a plaza. The police form a circle around them. Matt is begging Andrew to stop. Andrew won't listen. The police open fire. Andrew stops every single bullet in the air. Then he screams. The buildings behind them start to shake. Glass shatters. Concrete cracks. Pieces of the building start to fall. But Andrew is too far gone. Matt realizes there's only one way this ends. He looks at the statue behind Andrew. There's a sharp metal spear on top of it. Matt rips it free and sends it flying. It goes straight through Andrew's chest. Everything goes silent. Andrew floats there for a moment. The police move in, but Andrew suddenly flies up into the sky and disappears. Sometime later, Matt is flying above snow-covered mountains. He's holding a camera. He talks into it like he's talking to Andrew. He points the camera at temples below. They're in Tibet, the place Andrew always wanted to visit. Matt says goodbye. Then he flies off into the distance. If you made it this far, drop a comment and let me know what you thought about this movie. Don't forget to subscribe for more recaps like this.